York Community Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Loretta Brooks, and we warmly welcome each and every one of you here this morning. And I will say what I always say, that when you leave here this morning, you will feel a lot better than when you came in. So having said that, we're now going to have our licensed practitioner, Fanny Munlin, do our spiritual mind treatment. So please help me welcome Fanny.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's take a deep breath and go within to the spirit within each one of us. Recognizing that there is but one power, one present, one God, one source of all life, and each one of us are one with this power and presence. And we move forward in consciousness, knowing that the power and the presence of God is always available, always answering our request. We are open and receptive to the idea that there is but one power, one presence, one God, one source of all things that exist in the universe. Being one with this power and the presence, we let go of doubt and fear and anxiety and move boldly forward, knowing that we are supported in all that we do or say. Knowing and accepting this idea of oneness, we move forward with confidence, with self-assurance that truth within us comes forward easily, effortlessly. For we are divine ideas in the mind of God, divinely guided, supported, and maintained. And as we let go, we realize this great power that allows us to move forward, to think, to be creative, to be loving, to be joyous, to know that there is nothing in the universe to harm, delay, postpone any of our good. All the good that we may embody, the Spirit of God is willing and ready to bring forth greater ideas, greater health, greater joy, greater prosperity. We move forward this day knowing, accepting this idea, embodying the Spirit of God within, knowing that this power guides our steps, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. We are secure in the power and the presence of God. We love ourselves and we love others. And as we love ourselves, greater love comes forth, greater experiences in love, greater joy in love. The sharing is great. For through sharing, we magnify the Spirit of God. We bring forth the very best in all that we do, and everyone seeing us and relating to us, feel this joy, feel the spirit of love, feel the spirit of peace in the areas of joy, in the areas of profession. And whatever profession we're in, the Spirit of God is there, guiding, directing. In the areas of finance, the Spirit of God is supporting us. For what we embody, what we take in as a spiritual being, there is nothing to deny this truth. For all that we are grateful for the power and the presence of God within each one of us. And we use this power constructively. For we know that we cannot use it destructively, for we would destroy ourselves. And that is not the truth of spiritual mind treatment. Spiritual mind treatment is to lift us up to a level of consciousness where we know that there is good in the universe and that we are a divine idea in the mind of God, divinely guided, supported, maintained, and sustained in every area. We move forward this day with a sense of confidence, a sense of peace, a sense of joy. For there is nothing but God, and we are one with this power and presence. And with praise and gratitude for the divine Spirit of God within each one, I release this treatment into the law of mind and action, where it's accepted and acted upon at once. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Fanny. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you. That was really wonderful. That will really give us a foundation this morning for all of the work that we are doing together in consciousness. And now please help me welcome Barbara Blake, our licensed practitioner. She's going to do our reading today. Barbara?
Good morning. This morning's reading is from The Invisible Supply by Joel Goldsmith, and it's on the chapter, The Armor of Oneness. In God we have our being. Does the fish seek the ocean? No, the fish is in the ocean. It may not know that it is in the ocean, but it certainly knows that it is in the rightful place, and it goes about its rightful business without any attempt to find the ocean. But let us imagine that the fish, in a moment of insanity, supposing that there is such a thing as fish insanity, has lost its perception and is not aware that it is in the sea, and so starts swimming madly up and down searching for the ocean. That would be insanity. In our seeking and searching for God, we are suffering from the same kind of insanity because we have never left our Father's house. When we search for the presence and the power of God to dissolve our discords and inharmony, we are in a state of humanhood and as unnatural as the fish seeking the ocean. As long as we seek for God or a truth or a treatment or a prayer to relieve us of our problems, just that long will our problems remain with us. We will continue to be overwhelmed with the discords and inharmonies of this world until we achieve this spiritual discernment. And this discernment is God as one is one of the greatest revelations in all spiritual teaching, yet it is only touched upon in the very highest spiritual teachings. God being the only substance, there is no bad substance, no evil substance, not too much substance, not too little substance. Therefore, you do not need any words or thoughts or things with which to change substance. God is the only activity. Who can fear God's activity? Therefore, you do not need any words or thoughts or armor of defense or defense. Oh yes, we are tempted to believe in other activity. At the first street corner, there may be a gunman to hold us up, but our first temptation is to use either physical might or mental power to overpower him. But spiritual truth says, stand ye still. The battle is not yours. There is no power but God. There is no activity but God's. So let the gunman have his fun with his little gun if he wants. We of the physical world are not nearly as afraid of germs or guns or bombs as the rest of the world, so we do not suffer as much from them. If infection and contagion were power, we would have just as many infectious and contagious diseases as the rest of the world, but we walk among them and nothing happens. Why? Because we have come to see that there is no power in infection or contagion. They could have power only if they were an activity of God, but they are not. They are just appearances, tempting us to believe in an activity, a substance, or presence apart from God. What difference does it make whether it is a tiny germ or a great big bomb? Neither has the power to kill us. Only human belief gives that power. When we speak of oneness, we are speaking of God as the only power, not as a power to be used over evil power or with which to overcome sin or disease, because there is no power out there to defend yourself against. In other words, putting on the armor of oneness is like David going to meet Goliath without the world's sense of armor and without any of the world's weapons. David proved that Goliath was not a power, but only a braggart. Put on the armor of oneness. Face every situation in life with that one word, oneness. If you feel threatened by a bad activity, remember that God is the only activity. If you are faced with false sense of substance, too much or too little, remember that there is only one substance, and that is God. There is no evil substance, there is no bad substance, there is no sick substance. There is only one substance, and that is spirit. And so it is.
Thank you, Barbara. That is really the talk today is about oneness, so thank you for that. That really coincides with the lesson that we're working on, oneness with creativity. So we're having our announcements now. I have several of them. I'm really looking forward to September 23rd. I have shared with you, and we'll have flyers in the next couple of weeks. We have an amazing gentleman that's coming here on September 23rd for meditation. He's going to be teaching us all about meditation. He spent 15 years in the Himalayan mountains. He's done a lot of amazing work. He's written 10 or 20 books. Once you write one book, you've read a lot of books, right? He's written a lot of books. So we're going to be thrilled to have him here on September 23rd, a Sunday. Tell your friends, I'm expecting a lot of people. A lot of people are coming here from other centers and so on and so on. So it's going to be a wonderful event, and we're looking forward to that. I also have an announcement that about support for Reiki. Is that how you say that? Reiki? Reiki, okay, I said it right. So I have this on the back table for you to look at Beth Israel Hospital on Monday nights from 7 until 8:30 p.m. At Beth Israel Hospital, 10 Union Square in New York City, and these flyers are on the back table. You can contact a man by the name of Randy. There is free support with Reiki. So if you haven't experienced it, it's another form that helps you. We believe here in getting the help that you need. So if you have some kind of an injury or something that you're dealing with, do your treatment work, but also you may want to be supported with the Reiki. That's a wonderful, wonderful system, and it's free. And it's on Monday nights from 7 until 8:30 p.m. You can check out the flyer on the back table. Also, next week, I am doing Prospering Power of Love Part 2. That's going to be after the service. So I wrote down, bring your ideas, desires, and expectancy. A workshop for you, a love offering is suggested. So that should be wonderful as well. I just want to take a few minutes now to explain to you, because someone has asked me, and if you're new here, welcome. We welcome all of you to our community. We have a wonderful community here. After the service, we have spiritual mind treatment for you. It's a free service that we provide. So if you have something that you would like to ask for prayer treatment for, please see one of the practitioners after the service. They are on duty and they will help you with prayer. Otherwise, we also have written requests back there where you can write out a request and someone will also do a treatment for you. Okay, so those are all services that are available to you here. Okay, I think that's it. We're looking forward to that. We also have Carol Look coming here in October. We'll know more about that as time goes along, and that's another great event that we're having. So having said all of that, it's now time for us to wish each other a happy Sunday. So let's wish each other a happy Sunday. Okay, and now it is a pleasure to introduce to you Yoichi. He is our wonderful musician, so please help me welcome Yoichi.
What? I started liking that. I'm just kidding. Good morning everyone. So this month's theme is creativity. Creativity is always, I believe I have all the time because it's just the nature of jazz. You know, it's full of creativity for me. So I'm looking forward to hearing all the talk from you, Loretta. And so this morning, I was on the phone. I was actually talking to a friend of mine in Japan, and then she, well, I asked her which tune. She's actually a singer. She actually came here before, so you know, some of you guys actually met her. But she's coming to the United States finally end of this month, so I'm happy for that. Also, I asked her like which tune I'm supposed to play because she's a singer, so she knows a lot of tunes. So she actually mentioned a great tune that I never thought of, and actually I can play without learning and not from memory. So hope you enjoy. Everybody knows it probably. I believe it's 62 years old song. Oh yeah, done by one of the rock icon, influenced on Beatles, Rolling Stones. So hope you enjoy.
was right. She was right. Great song, great music, spectacular. Thank you. The magic of Yoichi. That was incredible. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in here who helps us each and every week to do the things that we do. Without all of you, and you know who you are, we would not be able to keep our center going. So I'm just very grateful to everyone who participates and helps us in so many ways. So I wanted to start out, yes. So I wanted to start out today by saying, rain, rain, go away. Come again some other day. Yes? Yeah. I don't know about you, but a little too much rain. You know what I mean? A little too much rain, right? So our lesson this morning is about creativity and oneness. And oneness is really creativity in action. You know, oneness is so important. It is really the basis of our teaching, the method of our teaching. When we talk about oneness, we are talking about being at one with the spirit of life, being at one with the joy and the power and the presence of the Spirit, and how that works with us for our creativity. So I want to start out with a quote from Paul Tillich. Paul Tillich says, "A new consciousness always creates a new world." I love that. And then he asks us to be reconciled to God. So this is really the theme of this lesson this morning. To be reconciled to God really means to restore friendly relationships. To restore friendly relationships. And we need to have a spiritual understanding that enables us to really connect with our source. Because all true creativity comes out of the mind of God and the Spirit of God, and that source that is deeply within us, that is always creating for us and doing things within us. And so this morning's lesson is about oneness, being at one with this power, this presence, and glorifying this presence and this power. The reading this morning speaks to that. It speaks to this spiritual idea that we are co-creators with God, that we are always creating something for ourselves, within ourselves, that the Spirit operates upon us and for us all of the time. Creativity is no different. What you are creating from within you. And I wrote down, creative right action comes into our lives as we are recognizing our relationship to God to enhance the quality of our lives. But there's something that really, really spoke to me, and I want to share it with you because this is really the basis of this lesson this morning. This is really something that really struck me, and this also came out of the mind of God, out of spirit. Creation and connection are both divine activities. I'll say that again. Creation and connection are both divine activities. In other words, when you are connected to Spirit, you are creating in a more wonderful, more joyous, more vibrant way than ever before. If you wake up in the morning and you get that divine connection, that connectedness to the source, you are being blessed. These become your divine activities. And then I wrote something down. They are both actions, but the question becomes, where are the actions conceived? This is really what this lesson is about this morning. Where are the actions of your life conceived? You know, we think about different quotes, conceived in liberty, conceived in happiness. Where is your creativity conceived? If it is conceived from within, not without. You see? When you look at something outside of yourself and you are creating from the limitlessness, or the limitedness, I meant to say, of the human being, then you are not in a place where you can create with Spirit. Co-creation with Spirit takes everything we have each and every day. We are at one with this Spirit that is within us all of the time. Not some of the time, but all of the time. This is the way we get healthy. This is the way we get wealthy. This is the way that we co-create with God through spiritual identity. Spiritual identification is what changes everything for each and every one of us. And yes, we have a time continuum because we live on planet Earth. But we have to know that we are part of this great spirit. And as we conceive our ideas, they bless us, they uplift us, and they inspire us. I always give the example of Bob Dylan, and I'll give it again because it's such a great example to me. He was interviewed and he was asked, how do you write this music? It's so amazing, and there are many people that write amazing music. However, he said something that was amazing to me. He said, I don't write this music. You really think I wrote that? And he was very serious. I didn't write that. What he's talking about is the divine spirit within each and every one of us that creates through us as a vessel or a channel if we are willing to turn to it for our creativity. And it doesn't matter what you are doing. You don't have to be a musician to be creative. You are an artist. Everyone in this room is an artist. We are all creating all of the time. But the question is, where do your ideas come from? Where do your activities come from? Are they conceived or birthed with mind, the mind of God, the Spirit of God? Because the spiritual identification is what changes everything. When you are one with the Spirit, when you are at one with this presence and this power for good, you are knowing yourself as God knows you through the spiritual eyes, the eyes of spirit. And you begin to honor that part of yourself. And you begin to cultivate a whole new way of being. A whole new way of being. I was listening to Tony Robbins this week, and he was talking about several things. And one of the things he said was, when you change your vocabulary, you are really changing your life. He said, if I say to you that you're going to go on a diet and you're going to get these foods and they're going to be good for you but not necessarily taste good, or if I say to you you're going on a diet and it's all delicious, that word changes everything. Words are so important to us. When we go to spirit, we get new words, we get new ideas. They come out of the mind of God. When I do these talks for you, I prepare, I write, I think, I hear, I use my senses, the senses that I can feel and see and think with. And then I go to the divine and I release everything to the divine. And that is what you can do with your life every day of your life. Surrender to the power and presence. All of you in this room are very successful. Yes? Yes. Yes. I hope so. I know so. I will so. You are willing then to be successful. The great success that comes to you comes from spirit. And we don't measure it the way that other humans do. We don't measure our lives the way that other human people do. We can measure our lives in a very different way because we know that spirit is operating for us all of the time. Doing spiritual mind treatment is a co-creation. It is an activity with spirit. You are operated upon by spirit, but you are operating in the world with a consciousness of spirit. Something in this book that is really tremendous that I love this book. I have to get some more of them. I'll order more of them. It's called Your Spiritual Power by Ernest. We all know him. We don't have to say his last name, right? So Ernest says in this book, which is really, really wonderful, he says, the soul is wed to the source of its being. The soul is wed to the source of its being. At the center of our thought, this is what I'm talking about, God goes forth into creation. You see? This creative act is eternal and tireless and without effort. And then he says, as we contemplate our oneness with all of life, that which we dwell upon springs into our experience, projected from the invisible source. What he's telling us is that whatever it is that we would like to have in our lives, whether it be more peace of mind, whether it be something that you are working on, a project, if you are willing to turn within. Rumi, work as hard in the inner world as you do in the outer world. I take those words and I measure them and I say to myself, Rumi has such a point there. We're always running around. Anybody know what I'm talking about? We run here, we run there. But when we get still and we get quiet and we go within, that is where we receive our spirituality, our identification with the Spirit. The Spirit really tells us something that is so amazing and blesses us and uplifts us. And we do our spiritual mind treatment for goals that we may have. Anybody in here have a goal? A few of you? So we wake up every day, and how do we wake up? You can go to sleep at night. I've been doing this lately. It's really a lot of fun. And you can program yourself from within to wake up the next morning at a certain time. Anybody ever do that? Wow, everybody, good. I thought I was the only one doing this. See that? You surprised me. But what you can do is at nighttime, if you want to wake up, like I like to wake up at 6:30. That's become my new time. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. I used to wake up a little earlier, but 6:30 works for me. So 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock, whatever time you want to wake up, start waking yourself up at that. And do your spiritual work in the morning. Begin to do your treatment work every day. Go to Spirit. Go within for your creativity. How many people in here are artists in some form of another? All of you. Every single one of you are an artist. You are working with people. Whatever you are doing, you are an artist because you are creative and you are always creating. And Spirit is within us. We have this power. You know, there was an old saying many years ago, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Spirit is a terrible thing to waste. Are you wasting the power that is within you that can always create for you? Last week I shared something, and I'm sharing it again because it's very powerful to me. I shared that I used to sit in a class with Dr. Grayson and listen to him talk and say how wonderful he was. But I didn't go home and do the work. I really didn't. I'd sit there, I'd go home, I'd talk to everybody. He's such a great teacher, he's fabulous, he's wonderful. And he was all of those things. But that didn't do anything for me, really. In reality, I wasn't really practicing. I was treating, I was doing things, but I wasn't practicing the way that I needed to practice. That's what I'm talking to you about today. Getting that at 1 minute, knowing that you're doing your treatment, but having some kind of a project to work on. No matter what it is for you, it's only yours. You know, in the workshops, I tell people, this is your workshop. When I used to teach, it was your class. This is your lesson this morning. It's not to sit here and listen to it, but what will you do with it when you leave here? How are you willing to live your life? Are you living your life with Spirit or without Spirit? Without Spirit is doubt. Without Spirit is the appearance of fear. My teacher used to say, make it an appearance, don't make it your reality. Only make it an appearance, because you can walk through an appearance. It's not real to you. And some people say, well, I have this challenge, I have this. Yes, you do. However, if you make it an appearance, it makes it so much easier to walk through it and to go to that higher place, that place of Spirit, where there is such creativity and such joy. That is what a practitioner does. If someone comes to me and says that they have a broken arm, I say, yes, you do in the physical form, but not in the spiritual. In the spiritual, it is whole, perfect, and complete. It is the same idea with anything. If you hold on to the idea that you never have any money, that's the idea that you bring into manifestation. If you turn to the Spirit within you, everyone in this room, including myself, has a challenge in some area of life. Is that true or false? That's true. So we have 4 areas of life. We have health, wealth, creativity, and self-expression. There are people in this room that have a lot of money. It's not a challenge for them. There are people in this room that have very harmonious, loving relationships. It's not a challenge for them. There are people who are very creative and express themselves very well. Look to the area that maybe you need to do some work in and begin to work in that area of your life. If you're looking for new employment, don't tell yourself every day it's hard to find a job. You see? That's defeating your purpose. You want to tell yourself every day that you are blessed, that you have talents and abilities, and you are always sharing them with people that you meet. And that when you are being interviewed by someone, that interview is coming through you in such a blessed way that not only you are feeling it, but so is the other person. That you have that confidence and that clarity and that conviction. Confidence, clarity, and conviction. What wonderful things to treat for. Yes. To move out into life with that confidence, that clarity, and that conviction that says that I am a part of the Spirit. I am a child of the Most High God. Spirit and I are one. And through this oneness, there is nothing that I cannot do. There is nothing that I cannot be or have. Terry Cole Whitaker said that many, many years ago. And when I first heard it, I thought to myself, what the heck is she talking about? That's what I thought. And now I realize that when you have spirit within you, there is nothing that you cannot be, do, or have. What you set your mind on, you will get. So set your mind free. You see, there is a freedom in your mind. And that freedom comes when you go within. Whatever it is that the challenge may be in your life, begin to expect great things for yourself each and every day. I was speaking with someone on the phone this week, and they said, expectancy. Isn't that interesting? Expecting, you mean I should expect good things? I said, yes. You need to expect good things for yourself. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Did you ever notice that? Yes? I did too. I used to get mad because other people weren't expecting my good. I used to get upset because other people, even in my family. And I would say, why don't they want all these good things for me? I want them to happen. And now I stop that. And I just go to Source. And I know that Source is making me feel better, do better, act better, and accept more good for myself. Accept that clarity of mind, that purpose in your life, whatever it is for you. Some of you in this room have amazing careers. Some of you have been in TV and the arts and different things like that and done all kinds of wonderful things. Be happy for yourself. Be grateful. That's another thing. That's part of your creativity. Every morning I have a prayer partner now, and I speak to that person and we do a gratitude list together. Something you can do for yourself or with other people. There are so many things that you can do, but the greatest thing of all, I think, is what I have taught you about asking for and receiving divine guidance. That has been a cornerstone for me for the last year. Let's say that together. I ask for and receive divine guidance. Again, I ask for and receive divine guidance. Knowing in your heart and your mind that this is true, knowing that these words are flowing through each and every one of you and blessing and inspiring you, uplifting you, and allowing you to let go of whatever kinds of judgments or fears or angers or resentment that you brought into this room. They are neutralized, uprooted, and dissolved. This is what I'm knowing for everyone in this room, including myself. Sometimes, Dr. Grayson wrote in one of his books, we hold on to something like it's a blanket, and we don't want to let it go because it's comforting, even though we know that it would be good for us to let go of it. You see? If we have a health challenge, we hold on to it for dear life sometimes, and we have to get a practitioner to help us to let go. If you cannot let go of something, don't blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just get someone to do the work for you. Get someone to do the treatment work for you. That is what practitioners are here for. That is what we are all here to help one another. I was sharing this morning, and this is a wonderful idea, that there's a new group of young people, they're millenniums, and they're coming up with a new paradigm. That's a word that they throw out all the time. Paradigm meaning, I guess, like to change the consciousness, to help people to get a new idea about something. And that paradigm is, it's not me against you anymore. They want to shift it, and they want to change it to it's us. We're in this, all of us are in this together. And they want to keep co-creating this as an idea to shift the paradigm so that we get rid of a lot of this anger that's floating around out there. Anybody notice any of that stuff? Sometimes I get a little sarcastic. I apologize. It's okay. It's all good. It is all good, and it is all spirit, and it is all God, right? And I apologize for my sarcasm. I don't mean to do that, but it's, sometimes it hits me too. You know what I mean? We're all human. We are all human beings. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. That spiritual identity takes me back to who and what I am. Remember that. Your spiritual identity will take you back to who you are. Because sometimes you are not who you think you are. Is that true? We all have these ideas about ourselves and other people, but if we go to the spiritual roots, the spiritual genes that we have within us, we know that we are co-creators with God. For we are at one with Spirit, and Spirit blesses our lives. It uplifts us, and it blesses us, and it co-creates through us all of the good things in our lives. So I want to go back to what I said. Where are the actions conceived? Are they conceived in spirit, or are they conceived in your limited thinking? You have to think about that. Where are these actions conceived? Remember Paul Tillich's words. He said, "A new consciousness always creates a new world." When I read that, I thought about the words mindset. Those are words that are thrown around a lot these days. When you have the right consciousness or the right mindset for something, that something will appear in your life. But we must work to get that consciousness. We must get clarity about what it is that we are working toward. Always work towards something. Always go toward the goal. Always know that Spirit is always moving you forward, onward, and upward in consciousness into a new realization of the truth about yourself. To let go, to release, to neutralize and dissolve any of the old patterns from yesterday. If they're not working in your life, let them go. Or work with someone that will help you to let them go, you see? I shared last week that we are pioneers in this work, and we really are. And what our consciousness is doing, it is creating a whole new way of using our mind. We are not using our mind out there all alone on the desert. We are using our mind as a connection, oneness with the source. And the source is all-powerful and all-knowing. But that power is only for you when you use it for good and for yourself. You cannot use it to hurt someone else. Something else I discovered while I was doing this lesson, very valid for me. When you go to Spirit, when you go to God, you must also know that you are cleansing yourself. If you go to God and you go to Spirit with anger, you're putting up a block. So you must know that you are at peace. Peace, be still, and know that I am God. And know that the Spirit within me is blessing me, uplifting me, inspiring me. Go to Spirit with love in your heart. Cleanse yourself of all of the old ways of thinking and doing and being. And know that you are part of God. And that God power is connecting you to your source. And through your source, you are able to have oneness and creativity. What are you creating with? Are you creating with gratitude and appreciation? That is a wonderful way to create something. You know, I never knew how to, I have to say this out loud, I'm not really that great of a cook. Anybody else in here like that, or just me? A few of you. So and my mother was an amazing cook. My sister went to cooking school, so she really knew how to cook, but she still couldn't cook as well as my mother. And my mother didn't go to school. But I was never really a great cook. It just wasn't. But it's okay. Whatever that you're good at, begin to do it and do it well. I love what I do. I love talking, and I love speaking, and I love to do writing. If you're a singer, whatever it is that you do it well. Do it with your heart. Do it with Spirit. Take Spirit with you wherever you go. It's there anyway. I always say it's like your American Express card. Never leave home without it. You want to do that. You want to have this spiritual identity with you all of the time, because it's always giving to you in such a good way. If you're angry, check in with yourself. Check in, why am I angry? Just ask yourself that question. Spirit, please let me know why I'm angry and how I can let go of this anger. You know, we all get that. We all get frustration. You know, I've been on the phone this week with all different kinds of things going on, but I have to just keep on moving through it. Because I look at myself and I say, I don't want to waste my days in anger and fear and all that. And so sometimes before I get on the phone, I'll say a prayer. And sometimes I'll say a prayer and it still doesn't go right. And that's okay. I just have to let it be. I love that song by the Beatles. That's very appropriate for right now, isn't it? Let it be. There's really so much to those words. When you just let it be, you don't fight, you don't struggle, you don't stress or strain, you just allow it. And then you go into the peacefulness. You see, if someone gives you the gift of anger, they want to give you their anger. Have you met people like that? They really want to give you their anger. And you can say, you know what, I don't want this. I'm not accepting it. What you don't accept, you don't have. You know, I don't want the anger today. Today I'm not going to allow for that anger. I'm going to be at peace within myself. The words, peace be still and know that I am God. The God within you, the God that is serving you all of the time. As you turn to it, it blesses you. It uplifts and inspires you. I love the idea of creativity from oneness. Oneness is something that we practice. We practice oneness when we practice our daily guidance. In one of the prayers in the Bible, it says, give us our daily bread. And I say, give us our daily guidance, our daily divine guidance. That is such a gift. If I could tell you all of the things that have happened to me since I started that practice, and each and every one of them are wonderful. I still have challenges. However, I recognize sometimes, even when something happens, I look for the gift in it. You ever try that? It's really miraculous. When something happens to you that goes in a way that you did not plan, look for the gift. Look for the gift. I am doing that over and over and over again. I am looking for the gift in it. And I find the gift, because what you look for, you will find. You see? So look for the gift in something and find the gift. And when you find it, recognize that it is a blessing and that it comes from Spirit. We are, each and every one of us in this room, being blessed all of the time. We are being uplifted and inspired all of the time. We just have to turn to it and know. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us this day our daily divine guidance. Creativity is really something that thrives within each and every one of us. We have to wake up to it. We have to know that it's there. Creativity is your divine birthright. It is always there for you, giving you blessings, giving you freedom and ease, giving you the love of God, the peace of God, and the power of God. I want to close with something that I think is very beautiful, also from the book Spiritual Power. Ernest Holmes says this: God comes new and direct to everyone who expects him, talks to everyone who listens, and acts through everyone who accepts his creativity. The effectiveness of your word, your prayer, and your meditation rests in the action of the law of God and not in you at all, just as the same as the authority you have in you, the use of law and its response does not depend upon you as a person. That authority is divine. That authority is as absolute as you permit it to be. Our experience is not with the power of the goodness or the presence or the love, but with ourselves. What he is telling us right then and there in that passage, which is so wonderful, is that Spirit will give you as much as you are willing to take from Spirit. As much as, see, we weren't taught this. We were not taught in the old-time religion that there's a Spirit within us that's willing to give us so much, and it is our pleasure to give birth to it. It is our pleasure to give these ideas, to conceive of them from Spirit, not from the human activity, but from the spiritual activity that liberates us to our good each and every day. Don't waste your time. You come here, you listen, go home and practice. Go home and do something really wonderful with your life, because that's why you're here. That's why you're here. One of the things I'm thinking about is a book that would say something like, you're not here to just take notes. I like that. That's a good title for a book. I like that. You're not here to just take notes. I'm going to say that out loud again. You are here to live your life in a new, more wonderful, more incredible way, because each and every one of you in this room is a very special person. And you are now uplifted and inspired by this word, and I'm going to do a treatment for each and every one of us, so that we are each and every one of us blessed, uplifted, and inspired, that we are moving forward, onward, and upward in consciousness, I'm remembering the words that were given out in California when they introduced Dr. Grayson. They said that if I have seen further, it's because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. I love that saying. Where does that come from? Somebody said it a long time ago. But it's really for each and every one of us here. You can see further. You can do better. You will do better because you are standing on the shoulders of giants. This is this work. This is the spiritual work that you have. You are, each and every one of you, blessed to move forward in your life. Don't just take notes. Use the power. Let's know. There is one life, one power, and one divine essence in the universe called God, the Divine One. And it is now operating freely and completely upon the conscious mind of each and every person in this room, including the speaker. Each one then knows that he or she is more connected to Source than ever before. And through this divine connection, each person is blessed, uplifted, and inspired. Let's go of any thought patterns of negation. They are released into the nothingness from whence they came. And each one draws upon the universe, the universal presence, for more good in their lives. Each one says yes to the Spirit, yes to co-creating with the Spirit, and yes to the divine goodness of God. All is well for each and every one of us. And with love, gratitude, and appreciation for the wonderful way that Spirit is at work in each one of our lives, I simply say thank you, God, knowing that there are demonstrations for each and every one of us, demonstrations of greater health, greater wealth, greater creativity and self-expression, and more loving, harmonious relationships. This word is the truth. It is now released into the law. It is done. So be it, and together we say, and so it is. And that is the way it is, and so ends our lesson. Thank you. Thank you, Yoichi, for some more wonderful music.
Okay, so the second tune I would like to play is inspired by Reverend Loretta's first line. She said, "We have too much rain lately," and it's actually struck me. Well, it's kind of interesting. I never actually counted how many tunes I know or how many tunes I can play. And I'm a jazz musician, but of course I know some of the tunes, and I know a lot of Japanese music as well. So, I have to go inside deeply, and I have to find which tune I'm going to play. So all the inspiration I get is really important and helps me a lot. So let me read this lyrics for you guys. That actually tells you the name of the tune I'm going to play. Raindrops keep falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they sent me to meet me won't defeat me, it won't be long, till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining. Because I'm free, nothing's worrying me. So hope you enjoy.
Thank you, Alicia. The magic. Thank you, thank you. Well done, beautiful. Okay, at this time.